You know, one thing that gets my goat, one thing that yanks my crank is the way foreigners talk about Americans. Like, y'all foreigners be hating on Americans so bad. It is so embarrassing. The way Americans are so dumb, they're so uneducated. Let me break this down for you. We have the same amount of stupid people here as you have in your country. Because I've been to some of your countries. I've been to a lot of your countries. I'm a well-traveled person. That's another thing. Oh, you Americans, you need to get out of the United States and travel. I actually am a very well-traveled person. And what's so crazy is a lot of those people who are saying that probably have never even left the African continent. But they're going to tell you that you need to be traveling. You need to get out, okay? Especially South Africa. I mean, where are you going from South Africa? It's so far away from everything. I mean, what's close to South Africa that you can get to quick? Okay? So one thing that really frustrates me is how they be coming down on Americans, and not just Black Americans, it's just like Americans in general. And this happens from especially Europeans, y'all. Especially Europeans, you know, the way they come down on Americans and how uneducated and stupid we are. Like I said, we have the same amount of stupid people here as you have there. And we have the same amount of smart people as you have there. I mean, it's just common sense. There's dumb people everywhere and there's smart people everywhere. Living in a country doesn't make you smart or dumb. If you are painting a whole entire country as stupid and uneducated, you are a xenophobe. That is xenophobia. Okay? I don't know how else to put this for y'all, especially y'all meanie South Africans. You are being xenophobic to sit there and say that all Americans are dumb. All Americans are stupid. You're being a xenophobe, period, point blank. And the other aspect of this where they're like, oh, Americans, they just so obsessed with race. I can't stand when motherfuckers say that shit. They're so obsessed with race. What are you talking about? We didn't invent race. Europeans invented race. So you mean to tell me that the place where the fuck race and racism was invented is less obsessed than the place where they exported that racism to? Y'all be in Europe talking about Americans are so racist and, you know, not racist, are so race obsessed. They're so obsessed with race. You know, everything's so black and white. Meanwhile, y'all are leaving the whole entire European Union so that you can keep the immigrants out. Meanwhile, the far right-wing parties of Europe have been rising up since immigration started moving towards Europe instead of the United States. So y'all want to talk about how Americans are so obsessed with race, but y'all motherfuckers are trying to close your borders because there's too many black and brown people coming in, and you want to ship all of them back. So miss me with that. And let's not act like racism wasn't exported across the whole entire freaking planet. Even the motherland. Y'all are not going to tell me that Americans are obsessed with race and nobody else is, when my own dad told me that in his country, Equatorial Guinea, Central Africa, that in his country, up until like the 70s, they had to walk off the sidewalk when a white person was walking down the sidewalk. In motherfucking Africa. Y'all South Africans want to tell Americans that we're obsessed with race when your country is run by white people. Please miss me with that nonsense. Okay? How did your country end up the way it did if there wasn't an obsession with race? Y'all motherfuckers had apartheid up until the 80s. So you mean to tell me that, oh, it's been 40 years, we're done, we've moved on? Don't play with me. And the same thing with Asia, okay? And especially South America. That's another thing. You Latinos, my Latino cousins, primos y primas, listen, escúchame por favor, okay? The way y'all act like only Americans, Latinos are some of the most race-obsessed people. Y'all have a whole phrase, mejorar la raza. For what? For those who don't know, by the way, that means make make the race better. And how do you think they make the race? How do you think Latinos make the race better?